So, what's your favorite art out here?
MBS is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
MBS.
It's fucking big.
yeah, it's
Motherfucking big.
yeah,
structure.
it's one of the bigger main burnable structures I've seen out here. So, at Soak, what would basically be we call it the
effigy.
main burnable structure, and then we have a temple as well. It's huge, right?
Yeah, I climbed up the ladder. I didn't go to the very top because people were making out up
Man
there.
base MBS.
But like I did take the slide down. People were talking about getting splinters, but if you go slow, it's fun.
Yeah,
That's my trick.
I didn't climb all the way up. I was
Yeah.
there last night and wasn't sober enough to climb that ladder all the way up.
So the theme at Soak this year is summer camp, and the main burnable structure is a giant campfire. It's a giant campfire, and the logs of the campfire are ladders and slides. So that's super fun.
Do you know why it is called the MBS instead of the effigy here? It's kind of an interesting story.
Oh, I did not know. Why don't
So
you enlighten us?
Wasco County, the county in Oregon where this is held, in the 80s, a cult called the Rajneeshis moved in and set up. They took over local
I
elections.
completely forgot about this.
They did the only successful bioterror attack on U.S. Soil by putting E. coli on a local salad bar. And it was like a whole big scandal. So Wasco County is scared of cults. Effigy is a culty word. We are not going to scare the Wasco County. We are not a cult. They can come and check us out. We're a camping festival. We have art. They know hippies. We're not quite hippies, but we can live in that realm. It is an MBS.
You might
It
say
is
it's
not
not a
an
cult.
effigy.
I won't show them the patch
Yeah.
that I have that says most definitely a cult.
Don't tell them about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best kind of cult. Though.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a cult of personalities.
All hail Larry.
But we're not going to bioterrorist attack there.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're not going to
We are-
overtake local elections.
friendly and harmless.
Yeah, we would argue about their
Right.
monkeypox that was bioterrorism.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Rex.
And I'm Beth.
And today on Accuracy Third, we have stories from the 2023 Thingus of Soak.
The Thingus of Soak.
I
You mean
was-
the regional?
Thank you, the regional of Soak.
Ah.
I was going to say, something else, but it wasn't there.
Soak, one of the two Oregon regionals that I'm aware of.
In the studio today, we have IANDUSTRIAL, who went to Soak on our behalf and recorded a whole bunch of folks talking about the event and how it's made and what they do there and what they do at the Big Burn.
I gotta ask before we jump all the way into this. Does IANDUSTRIAL mention that he gave us one of the titsest gifts we got in 2023?
There was a bunch of us talking about it, which the patrons can hear. But I'm not leaving in the effusive thank yous and whatnot that Beth and I gave to IANDUSTRIAL in regards to his Never-Ending Story themed sticker.
Oh, I was talking about the fuck hard patches.
Oh, that was him?
Yeah.
I thought that was Punisher.
No.
Well, I love people who give me awesome patches. One of whom I thought was Punisher. Punisher, if you haven't given me a really cool patch, up your patch game. But IANDUSTRIAL, holy shit. Fuck hard indeed.
Fuck hard. Fuck hard, Sokians. Soakerites? Soquarians?
The Soaked.
Yeah, that's accurate. It is in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And now Rex is going to go to a Burning Man meeting, and Beth and I are going to talk to IANDUSTRIAL, and then IANDUSTRIAL is going to talk to all the motherfucking Soak.
IANDUSTRIAL.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the studio.
It's pretty great in here.
Thank you.
We like it. You are in the Bay Area right now visiting from Portland. Are you from Portland?
No. Contrary to popular belief, there are other places in Oregon than Portland.
So,
and I live in Eugene.
I was like, so Eugene, Corvallis or Salem? Maybe Ashland.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the other
way to
place.
go.
I was going to say, yeah, Ashland is, there's a lot of burners there.
I would imagine. Do you get people from all over the state coming to Soak?
Yeah, a lot of people from Washington as well.
Yeah.
The Critical and Soak both have a lot of crossover.
I've always wanted to go to Soak. Portland's my hometown. And I've always really loved the Oregon burners. They're just so
Oregon-y.
trashy and woodsy. They're just, they're just kind of damp but hardcore. I really enjoy the vibe
That checks out.
of Oregon burners. So I've always wanted to see what it felt like to be in a mass of them.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
I mean, even the Oregon cities that I've been in, like those urban areas are real rural for being big cities.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see that. At least where I live, it is.
So you're in Eugene, the hippiest non-Portland city in Oregon.
Besides Ashland.
Yep. Well, yeah.
Ashland, I mean, it's kind of a different
Ashland
flavor
is
of hippie.
definitely more hippie.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's closer to the Wooks.
Or a little more woo-woo.
That damn shit.
Yeah, that's unfair. I guess hippies don't have to be woo-woo.
Yeah.
How is Eugene for burner populace? I mean, it's a college town. Do you find that you're around a lot of younger burners?
Well, Eugene is just in the last maybe 3 years actually started connecting its burner community. So we started doing a monthly burner beer night.
That's great. That's so good.
They're working on a Eugene regional burn.
No
That's,
shit. Where would that go?
It's just outside of town.
See, we need a micro regional to the regional.
Yeah. But I still haven't been yet. I don't want to get roped into volunteering.
Do you just show up and they're like, fuck, you look competent, throw them at anything.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of. That's why I haven't gone yet. I don't want to end up like managing a whole department.
So when you go, you just got to take your jacket off.
Yeah.
Don't show your
Oh, they
colors.
already know me though.
Oh, damn it. There's no way around it then.
Yeah.
Nah, man, guy in a mask. Can never tell who a guy in a mask is. Yeah, you gotta let a burgeoning regional show that it's got its own legs before you start putting your effort into it. Like, you need to see if people who are not already volunteering for other burns or regionals can get this shit together, because we're already running one or two.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I'll help you with your project, but I won't do your project for you.
Also, they traditionally have had it really close to Soak, and I've just been buried in running a theme camp there and just haven't had time to.
How far away is Eugene from Soak? Like, is there really a need for it?
Well, so it's 4 hours to Soak. It's 2 hours to Portland. But
yes, it needs it because Soak gets sold out like immediately.
That's the thing. Yeah, I believe it sold out in under a second. I'm not 100% sure of that, but that's what I heard.
I feel like I heard that about last year's Soak.
Yeah.
It was just all the tickets were gone.
Same thing with Unscrews.
Unscrews, yeah.
Yeah, I'm using that as my new excuse for not being a guy who goes to regionals. I would,
can't
but
get tickets.
yeah, I didn't have the money like within 5 minutes of it. So,
Well, if you guys want to go to Soak, I run a camp. We get DGS tickets.
Great.
I really want to go to Soak. What time of year does it happen? Just
It's Memorial Day weekend.
that's when Labor
of
Day
May.
should be,
End
but
of
isn't.
May.
Yeah.
end of May. I could actually do that too because I'm done with school at the beginning of May. Yeah, that would be super fun. Tell us about, I mean, do you go over stuff about your camp? Are you interviewing campmates and stuff? I'm sorry, I haven't listened to your audio.
We talk a little bit about the camp.
Well, tell us about your camp.
Most of that is stuff in the early part of the episode that might get cut out.
All right.
Then we should go over it.
Yeah.
So my camp's called Overfuckingrated.
Fabulous.
Perfect.
It's a continuation of a camp that was at Burning Man for many years, RevoFUCKINGlution.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you guys bring down beer?
Oh, yeah. We brought, I think the record that we brought out to the playa was 34 half barrels.
Yeah, we have drank a lot of beer at RevoFUCKINGlution before.
Yep.
Back when you were over in like the 9 o'clock portal.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where we pretty much always were, with the exception of one.
That year I
maybe 2
couldn't
years.
find you. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the year we were AbsoFUCKINGlution.
Great.
We had a Catholic theme. We had a confessional booth out front, and you had to confess your sins. And then we'd be like, well, it sounds like you really need a beer.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I didn't interact with it that year, or I didn't find you that year, or someone tried to get me to do that, and I was feeling punchy and was just like, no, I don't believe I have sinned. Thank you.
Me either.
So are you doing similar things at Soak?
It's exactly the same camp, pretty much. We just have to bring way less beer, and we have to drive way less far.
Yeah, and we'll drive 14 hours to get free beer, so it all works out.
And your camp is on less even ground.
That's a thing for sure. But there's trees for shade, which is kind of nice.
The last time I went to Critical, a friend of mine who's really into stilt walking fucking ate it on stilts because it didn't matter how drunk or high he got on playa, he could fucking handle those stilts. But this is on a hill,
Yeah, and
with different kinds of terrain.
yeah, it's a pretty steep hill for Critical, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if they're
Or
in the
steep parts, at least.
that if where I was is the same place they do it now. But for the longest time, they did it at this nudist resort. That was super sweet. So there were like showers and stuff and a bunch of like local nudists that would drive around in golf carts being like, they really got the burner vibe and made, it was really, really sweet. It's like you always knew they were the nudists because they were absolutely naked no matter what the temperature or how hard it was raining. And they're always driving golf carts. They never like got out and walked anywhere. They would get out and then they would give out, what was it called? Redneck lemonade. It was PBR vodka and Minute Maid on ice.
Jesus.
Yeah. It was. They were so pleased with themselves for finding something absolutely disgusting.
Yeah,
that
what a
we would all
horrible
totally
spritzer.
drink. Like,
Jesus.
yeah, but that
It
was
doesn't sound
very
like
uneven.
the worst thing in the world. There's no Malort in it.
I see by all of your signs that you are in fact Gate. How long have you been working for Gate?
I just did 5 years. I've been to Black Rock City 13 times, but I didn't find Gate until 2017.
So now you're like really going to Burning Man.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you go with this camp and volunteer at Gate?
We don't do Overfuckingrated or RevoFUCKINGlution at Burning Man anymore.
Oh,
It's just,
when did it retire from Burning Man?
so the last year we did it was 2015, and that was Carnival Mirrors. Mm-hmm. And that's when we changed the name to Overfuckingrated. And in our sign, the E and the R are backwards. It says Revo backwards.
Nice.
So there's still like, homage to the original
Your
name of
forebears.
the camp. But it was 2014. We realized that using reverse psychology to get people to come drink our beer worked better than just asking them to come drink our beer. We'd be like, oh, yeah, you guys probably wouldn't like it. Yeah, that's right. Follow that guy. Keep walking. You wouldn't like this place.
You
Beer's
couldn't
too
even
cold.
handle the kind
This
of beer
bar's
we
really
have.
shady.
That is such a. I am a sheeple burner. If you shout at me to come get drinks, I will dutifully come get drinks. But I do really like that as a way to get people in off the street.
It's funny, too. People are like, what? Did you just say cold beer?
Hey, I bet you're not even cool enough to drink beer.
They're like, you can't tell me what to do.
So, do you camp with Gate now, or have you found another theme camp?
No, I've been camping with Black Rock City Welding Repair for quite a few years now.
Are they a theme camp that helps people with their welds?
Yep.
Incredible.
And that's what I do outside of Playa as a job. So it's cool to,
Be a guy with a big transformer and alligator clamps and
all those things.
Yep.
Yeah. People pull their art car up with a broken like staircase or something, and they're like, I don't know if you guys can really fix this. We're like, oh, we got you.
That is rad. Do
just
you
gonna-
weld bikes?
I weld a lot of pedals.
oh, I bet you do.
Pedals strip out, and we're like, well, we'll weld it so it can't fall off.
There are some really gnarly scars thanks to your efforts, I'm guessing.
Sweet.
Right, because then they can't flip around. They just stay in one spot, the pedal?
Sometimes. It depends on the bike.
Okay.
Sometimes they still turn. Sometimes they don't. I like it when they don't, though.
I thought
You bring a janky bike, you might have a janky experience with that bike.
Took me like 6 years of it to get a nice bike. That only lasted 1 year because I left it out in the rain for the next year.
I was going to say, is it still a nice bike? I'll bet not.
It might be now. We had a boarder who used to own a bike mechanic shop, and he did some work on it. But I mean, that was 2 months ago. It's covered in a tarp, but Burning Man is almost half a year away.
It's all about the pressure washer with Calgon.
Yeah, I bet.
if you're feeling motivated enough to do that.
I might be.
So how long have you been participating in Soak for?
So Soak, my first year was 2017. 5 years of soak. And then 1 year during the pandemic, there was kind of an unofficial soak because the official soak was canceled. And that was called Escape. And so 6 if you count that, but I wouldn't really.
What was that one like?
It was cool. It was about 600 people. It was near the same spot, but soak is in this valley, with rock canyon walls on both sides, and it's kind of a cow pasture. It's like rolling hills,
Cool.
fields. It's beautiful. But this other one was kind of more like high plains, and you could see Mount Hood, and I want to say it was Mount Rainier, but I can't remember for sure.
It would be Baker or...
Oh, maybe it was Mount Baker.
Yeah, Rainier's way up in Washington.
Yeah.
Is there a bunch of neat art at Soak? Is there art that we don't get to see?
Yeah, definitely. There's some stuff that has been to the burn, but the vast majority of it hasn't. It's nowhere near as art-centric as Burning Man is, but the art that does make it out there is really cool, and especially the temple and the MBS. We call it the main burnable structure.
It's not a Burning Man.
Yeah.
It's just a structure to
Yeah.
burn. How was your year this year? What with
it
all
was
the rain?
fantastic.
Yeah.
My favorite. Well, my second favorite. My first year with the men burning early and the big
07
rig
was-
jig and the crude awakening.
Rude Awakening. Yeah.
It's going to be really hard to top that one. But, a little Schadenfreude went a long way. 2023 was second place so far.
It was a time.
It was.
How did you spend were you there for the first rain shower and setup week?
I was not. I missed it by about a day and a half. Things had just dried up
Enough for you
pretty
to
much right. I got there the day they reopened the gate.
Good timing.
Yeah.
D-Day barely got in before it all came down.
They were going to hold me in Gerlach for an indefinite amount of time. And then they were like, oh, no, you can go. And then I went and I got to the gate and they were just like, yeah, why are you here? They're like, you can wait across
Great
the
communication
road
in this
for a
agency.
while. Yeah, well, I was kind of napping in the car and got information third hand. But it worked out I wasn't going to... Like, I don't want to unpack my shit so that I can spend a night or 2 or 3 in
In a
Gerlach.
hotel.
Yeah. My stuff is crammed, man. I'm not going to uncram it and then cram it again.
We should just do the intros and outros too.
Without racks?
Yeah.
My laws.
It'll be okay, I promise. Okay. Welcome to Accuracy Third. I am Beth.
I'm D-Day. And I'm Rex.
Fucking audio magic. Today we are in the studio with E11, Gate human being. Is that unfair? A lovely organizer of a major theme camp at Soak who did some recording up there with folks during the event this year. E11 has given us this lovely audio that we're going to share with you now. And we have lovely, I'm doing it too much. I'm stoned. Something.
That's a good drop, though. We're going to be using that a lot. Point is, E11 is our newest correspondent here at Accuracy Third. And if you're interested in helping us with our project, you can get in touch with us at accuracythird@gmail.com. And now here's a bunch of us talking to E11 about Soak and some other things, and interviews with people at Soak featuring E11.
All right, check. Levels check.
Check.
Levels check. All right, that looks good. Oh, might be a little hot.
I'll take it. I always want a pen if you don't want it. I feel like this
Finders keepers.
Yeah, I might just keep it. I don't feel too terrible about keeping a moved pencil.
Okay, we are at Soak, the Oregon Regional, and we're at a camp called Overfuckingrated with 2.
1 star.
Yeah, terrible, horrible camp.
1 star.
All they do is serve like beer and cider and wine and cheese and mixed drinks and like music. It's so shitty.
Yeah.
Why would you want any of those things?
They also serve attitude. I don't know what
Attitude,
that's about.
shade, goddamn fucking shade. It's a beautiful day
Serving
and they're making
shade.
us have shade.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
This bar is shady. So who are we talking?
I am she who has no name at the moment.
Huh.
Copy that.
And I'm Space Cadet.
You volunteer at Burning Man, right?
Yep, I do. Mostly Gate these days at Burning Man. Mostly Apex at Gate, although I like to mix it up and do sort of new and different things every time. So I did Go Box last year.
Go Box!
Boom, boom. I've done Airport. I've done all the lanes, obviously. Perimeter. 1 shift in the DOC. I won't be back there.
What's the DOC?
I really can't talk about that.
Okay.
It's an operational site that Gate uses to have operational information. But you don't get to dance with cars, and it's not as exciting.
That
so
sounds boring compared to what
yeah, for sure.
Is it all bureaucracy?
It's sitting in an air-conditioned room with a radio. So, that's not so bad. But, yeah. It's not very ADHD compatible.
Very lonely.
Yeah.
It's like Perimeter, but without the car. Or the people.
Or the adventure. Yeah.
Yeah, the chase.
There's no chase. Yep. What can I tell you that I won't get in trouble for sharing? They help get information about how long it takes to get into or out of the city that you can learn on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of what they do. But the ways they do that are obscure and not
Top
to be
secret,
discussed.
confidential.
Yeah.
Spycraft. Or
That's
more
right.
gatecraft.
Exactly.
So, what do you guys think of Soak? How long have you been out here? What's the highlights?
This is my first soak.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And have you been to other regionals before?
I've been to other regionals. I've been to Critical and to Unscrews.
Critical is Seattle, yeah?
Yeah, that is the
And then-
Seattle regional that happens after this particular regional.
What about Unscrewed? Where's that at?
Unscrewed, Santa Cruz.
Oh, okay.
The Santa Cruz.
Oh,
It's held at
Unscrews. I get it.
Unscrews. It is held at a sort of like a parking lot with grass, and it's very much downtown-ish Santa Cruz, and so there's not the nice hilly outdoors. So that means it's closer to services and whatnot, but it's a lot like a county fair.
How would you describe the site here?
The site here is rather magical. There are rolling hills with oak and pine trees. There are lava flows with incredible views.
We're in a canyon.
There are 2 baby deer wandering around. They lost their mama. They've been bleating for their mama for 2 days now, but they will be reunited after the humans leave.
We are in this canyon
that's
with
very
like
recent.
microclimates and a cold, dangerous river.
Very, very rapidly
And
moving river.
even with the light pollution of the event, this is like mapped as some of the darkest skies that you can get to within an easy drive of Portland. There are like dark sky rep maps, and Ty Valley is one of the places that shows up as actually, I could see the Milky Way last night. I got to see the Big and Little Dipper. I got to see Cassiopeia. Yeah, and that's even with the like light show that everybody brings. So when we aren't here, it's even more spectacular.
We have a new member
in a different way.
Speaking.
Yeah.
I'm not a
Here.
member or anything yet. I'm Natasha.
Hi, Natasha.
Hi.
So what do you do at Burning Man?
So I'm the volunteer coordinator, scheduling supervisor for Gate Perimeter and Exodus. I'm also on the board of Ignition Northwest, the West Washington Regional.
So we were actually just talking about regionals and comparing them. This is your first soak as well?
This is my first soak as well. My first critical was last year. I've done a few others. I've done the Equinox. I've been to Unscrews.
And so how would you say soak compares to other regionals?
So each regional has its own kind of feel to it. And for instance, critical is much more mellow, much more family-oriented, maybe in a way less a party. It's longer. It's a week long. And you kind of feel like some people come later, it's smaller, it's 1,300 people. And some people come later, and a lot of people come with families and a lot of kids around. This feels like a much more, let's get into the weekend, party hard,
Of
and
course,
it's bigger.
we are here in the main field. Down the road a little bit is kind of a lot more of the family vibe, because down the road is kind of the more treed area.
In the forest, in the forest.
And there's a lot more family-type camps down there because it's a quieter area. Here, we're actually right on the corner that is pretty much the center of Soak.
Interestingly enough, compared to Critical has a very lively red light district with, I think, 4 or 5 very overt sex-oriented camps. I've only seen one here.
Oh, there's more.
Okay.
No, there's more than one, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's at least a handful.
But they're maybe not concentrated in one place?
No,
they're discreet.
They're discreetly peppered throughout the event this year. There used to be kind of more of a district for that.
Yeah.
But as long as that kind of activity is not visible from the street, this year, or I think they did it last year too, they just kind of peppered them around. I know there's KFC, Kinky Fucking Campers.
Yeah, that's the ones that they have a big sign from the road. It's easy to find.
Yeah, and then there's Sex Positivity up the street.
Is DTF a sex camp?
No, they're a sound camp.
Really? I just was like, I was just guessing by the name.
Disco's Tango Fox.
Yeah, but like DTF means down to fuck. Yep. So like, I just assumed down to fuck.
They're like one of the 5 larger sound camps.
Oh, got it.
Up there.
Yeah. I thought maybe there was a sex angle that I just hadn't caught on to. Yeah.
There's always
So what camp are we at right now?
Under fucking rated, over fucking rated. Rated, yeah.
So
I'm constantly being rated here.
Actually, my camp. So we have a bar. We serve microbrew beer and cider. And this camp actually has been to Burning Man many times, mostly under the name RevoFUCKINGlution. But also AbsoFUCKINGlution, and then the last year we did it in 2015, it was Overfuckingrated because the theme that year was Carnival of Mirrors. So Revo backwards is over, and that's why in our sign the R and the E are backwards. To pay homage to our original.
Shout out to history for providing the beer.
Yeah, we keep our beer completely decommodified.
Nice.
We don't tell people what it is. We call it IPfuckingA and the Porn Dog Pale Ale. That's another thing we do here is porn dogs. Did you guys witness that last night?
I was tripping and kind of overwhelmed, and my tent was uncomfortable. So I was like, pantsless, can I just hide in your tent and be safe and comfortable in your more comfortable tent? And then I started hearing the most interesting and exciting sexual sounds, and was like, well, look, sometimes you hear this. And then there were lots of people laughing, and I'm like, what kind of large and exciting event is going on out there?
Yeah, I rolled off from my ranger shift around midnight. It was like rolling mid through this thing. It's a glory hole shadow theater with corn dogs through the glory hole.
Served off of the strap-on, right?
Yeah, some of them. Yeah.
You know, we're kind of fast and loose with it this year. The strap-on kind of takes a while to put on. In previous years, we've had more than one of them, so there could be one on deck. I don't know what happened to the other ones. I might not want to know. So some people were just holding it. But yeah, you always use a condiment with corn dogs.
Always use a condiment. Condiment.
So that's the corn dog theme explanation of our bar here. We had the dried corn dog and cider.
Nice.
That was on tap earlier. So we rename all the beers to make it decommodified. So we have a fetching dog in the middle of the podcast here.
He's very fetching.
He's very fetching.
She's very fetching.
She's very fetching. Yeah, she's very fetching.
She is a service animal, but she loves to play fetch.
I'm bringing back my food art this year because of the theme. Do you know about my cold s'mores?
No.
Well, once upon a time, many soaks ago, I made s'mores didn't finish them. Some of them were cold. I was like, hey, anyone want a cold s'more? And people thought I was offering them cold sores. And it made me laugh so much that I was like, I have to double down on this. So I've made a few hundred s'mores at home that I froze. They're in my cooler. Some of them are vegan and gluten-free. I have a sign. It says cold s'mores on one side, and on the other side there's a big smiling face with a little bump on the lip. And I have to bring it back. The theme is like the camping. Yeah, I have. So I'll be distributing those later today. Yeah.
And then what about some of the other art out here? Does anything stand out?
Flaming Giraffe Art Car is cool, and the road into Soak has that like ranch type thing over the front of it that like old ranches have, where it is the name of whoever owns it. They couldn't get the giraffe past it. I was on shift and they were like in the RV field and didn't know how to get in, and then they after like 3 hours they were like, we're just gonna try again, and I'm like, I'm on shift, I don't know what happened, but now they're in the event. I don't know how they did it. Like maybe they had to deconstruct it or tip it, but yeah, the Flaming Giraffe Art Car is cool. I hope they can get us.
I like the big jellyfish that's projected on the side of the hill here, like changes. It's huge, and I'm not sure, is it projected or is it LED?
I don't think I've
lit
seen
up.
this.
There's a huge jellyfish, bluish, that's lit up. Literally takes like a quarter of that hill. Here, like part of it happens down on like flat area, and then there's a hillside, and part of that hillside is like too steep to be climbable. So somebody put a huge fucking jellyfish.
Wow.
On that hillside. That isn't. Yeah.
So we have some other people who just sat down.
Maybe I'll hand the mic to you and check in over here. I don't know if it'll reach far enough.
That is the longest board.
Anybody want to join the accuracy third?
Oh, wait. Here's mic down. We cannot have a mic down.
All right. Well, did I land where I needed to land, or am I close? Like hand grenade close? No, like accuracy. Did I land right? Oh, am I in the right spot? I tried. Chef Juke.
Chef Juke. Hello.
Cheers.
Hello.
It's Chef Juke. It's been a long time. Manimal.
Yes, Manimal. How are you, my friend?
Quite well. It's good to see you.
Yes, it's good to be seen. We're on the Accuracy Third podcast right now. This is wonderful. You look to be a ranger.
I am not a ranger.
Oh,
yet.
you're just wearing khaki.
I am ranger adjacent. I have been ranger adjacent since around 1997.
Wow.
Nice.
So I wear ranger-esque clothes. I have a radio so that if anybody thinks I'm a ranger and approaches me, I can call a ranger.
Yeah.
But I am not yet a ranger.
You're cat-esque.
Cat-esque, yes.
So what department is the radio from then?
Here at SOAK, I am on the board of Precipitation Northwest. So we are the nonprofit organization that hires the producers to put on this event.
Oh, and so do they do other events as well? Or?
They also, yes, we also do Burnout, which is the Portland area decompression party after the big burn, as we call it. And we also have the Burner Barn, which is a community space that many of the artwork pieces that you see here were constructed at, and we also make it available for other members of the community and things like that. And we're looking to do more.
Cool. Yeah, I've been to the Burner Barn. I helped out with the main Burnarble Structure 1 year. That was a while ago. I'm sure that the Burner Barn has changed quite a bit.
You know, I think our biggest challenge over the last few years, as with many, many things, has been the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get programming, as we call it, and things going, or we're really in the restarting mode. Last year, all of our focus was on getting back here. And now we're really starting to look at what other things we can do with these spaces, what other things that we can support in the Portland and Northern Oregon community.
Chef Juke, I noticed a very interesting thing about how the pandemic affected an environment and a culture of impermanence. Is what it seems like is everyone had to work really hard for the exact antithesis of that, of permanence, and trying to figure out how to lock down things so that they could become impermanent again. Is that correct? I noticed that around my household.
Well, everybody responded to this worldwide impactful event differently. I think there's some people who cocooned. Maybe what you're talking to is wanting to hold on to the things you have a little tighter because all of a sudden this worldwide, concept of the people around us may be far less permanent than we were thinking that they might be.
Correct.
And, my first year at Burning Man, the Big Burn, literally my first morning on the playa, I met Larry Harvey as he was giving an interview, and he said that Burning Man was a monument to impermanence.
Correct.
And I don't think even then he thought that 29 years later, not only that Burning Man would still be here, but it would be as big and as spread culturally around the world the way that it has. And it is a weird thing. You have an event that at its core initially is celebrating impermanence, but then it starts to become permanent.
It requires a little bit.
And
at least in the infrastructure.
Well, but on the other hand, we don't have, and I'm talking about the Big Burn, but we don't have permanent infrastructure on the playa.
No.
But we got a lot of semi-permanent portable stuff nearby. And people go to Burning Man already planning their next year's Burning Man with that certitude that it will be there. And that was shaken up.
Yeah, exactly.
Shaken up big
exactly
time.
It.
A question is, yes, there are people who now have expectations that Burning Man will be there.
Right.
And so, or these other things that have become very important in their lives.
But I guess what I was bringing up is that, like the burner barn, right?
The burner barn.
How has that grown since the event rather than, like I said, there's almost a monument of permanence to something like that to where it became more of a solid thing.
Well, I think of the burner barn as something separate from the event. The burner barn is a resource for people in the community to help them create projects they couldn't at home. They couldn't here. They couldn't.
Yeah.
You live in an apartment. Where are you going to go build?
Exactly.
If you wanted to even just build a couch, where would you and your friends go to build a couch for your apartment? If you don't have the tools, you don't have the space. But ideally, for building art, for building things to share with the rest of the community. Resources are great. I live in Eugene, and about 9 years ago, I started building a shop to build a mutant vehicle. And then I had friends who said, I need a place to work on my project. And my shop has become a makerspace. With about 30 people who each pay about $5 a month just to help cover the electricity. But we have a full machine shop and a wood shop, and it's packed into a 2-car garage that my friends, when every night, weekends, if I'm home, I open it up and people can come work on projects.
I had no idea about this.
Yeah, but this is. The idea of sharing space, sharing resources for creating things in a time and a world where we've become so used to just buying them with 2-day shipping from Amazon Prime.
Right. That's exactly it.
And so I'm very much all about helping people learn how to weld, learning how to do any number of things so that they can make things themselves and they can share things themselves and getting out of this meanness and, I know people who have beautiful shops that only they use and they only go in them once a month to work on a project, and there's all of this equipment and these tools that could be of use to many more people. So I'm trying to be the opposite of that. That's me. The burner barn is a bigger version of that. It's hey, this is here. If you come to us, come work on something. Darn, we're people in their
We're getting blown out by another stereo.
We have one department that is like obvious. I don't know where.
Yeah, him and his pointing right at our mics too. I think he's compensating for something.
Just that guy, huh?
Yep.
Tell that guy to turn it down. We're recording here.
Papa Bear's
drowning out his podcast.
Totally drowning out the podcast.
Which is
He's got it. He's got it.
Oh, he's got it. Sweet.
Tell us about 20 hand.
What's your name?
My name's Emily.
And you just told me about a 20-hand massage that I should get around.
Yes.
Okay, describe how that works.
Down at Dr. Bev's tent, there's like 10 people. There's a massage table, and you lay down on the massage table, and everybody's like moving around you. They have their own massage technique, and then it goes as long as the song. And then when the song's over, you rotate, and then everybody else massages everybody.
Oh, and so then you participate in giving the massages
Yes.
as well.
You give a massage first, and then everybody gives you a massage.
That's great.
Wow.
It's amazing.
That sounds pretty impressive.
Yeah. I think I'm going to have to check that out.
20 hands, that's 10 people.
That's 10 people.
Or more, depending on handed or... Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
I think it can only be more, because if it was less than 10 people and it's still 20 hands...
They need an extra limb or something.
Nobody
Yeah,
has
you
an
need an
extra limb. One of our campmates here does have
seen people
only
that
one.
have-
Right.
So if Marshmallow was involved, then it would be a 19-hand massage.
Okay, fair enough.
I've seen someone that had like 3 arms worth of arms just within 2. Like very,
Last
very
night,
long,
he had like
noodly
extension
arm.
hands on his
I
arms.
saw him.
We were under the fire sunflowers, and he walked by, and my friend was like,
With the very
"What
long
is
hands.
that?" It was crazy.
You never know
We
what you're
never
going to
saw
see.
it again.
What has been your favorite thing out here?
I don't know. There's so much stuff. I haven't even been to all the things yet, so I can't really
I think
decide.
it's a lot like
Standing here
Burning Man.
talking to us. Go see
that you
things.
can't.
This is cool. I mean,
it's a lot
I really
like-
dig the 20-hand massage, though.
Yeah, that sounds.
It felt amazing.
That sounds like it would probably have to be a highlight.
Yeah.
I feel like Soak is a lot like Burning Man in that you can't see everything.
There's a lot here.
I mean, there's only about 2,000 people here, but it's still so spaced out. You can't be more than one place at once.
No. Well, I'm going to go get some lemonade. Thank you, guys.
All right. What do you do at Burning Man?
Well, that depends on what context. So, at Burning Man, I do 2 things. I am a member of the Department of Mutant Vehicle Council, so help check in and license all of the mutant vehicles that are invited to Burning Man. And my day job is I manage Burning Man internal tech support for the year-round staff at Burning Man.
Oh, wow.
So that when somebody can't remember their password, they come to my team and we say, don't write it down on a sticky note.
And probably lots of other good tips for good cyber safety.
Yes.
Verify emails.
There you go. We try to keep the Burning Man infrastructure safe from hackers and bad agents.
Yeah. So I see you're wearing a DMV patch, though.
I am wearing. That's the DMV patch. So my day job aside, because that's far less interesting than my volunteer gig. So I've been going to Burning Man since 1994, volunteering with the DMV since 2002, and working my day job at Burning Man since 2019. So I guess I am that crusty old burner that people talk about who's gone full in.
You've drank the Kool-Aid.
Oh man, that my lips are just a bright red from that cherry Kool-Aid.
Yeah. I think at this point I would say that I've beer bonged the Kool-Aid.
There you go, right. But the DMV is the most interesting and the most fun part of what I do related to Burning Man, because I get to communicate and work with the hundreds and over the years thousands of art car and mutant vehicle creators that bring their work to Burning Man. There's 3 of them here at Soak, which is loads of fun. I walk up and I go, I know your vehicle. And they're like, who are you? I'm like, oh, you're that guy who sends me all the emails about my mutant vehicle. And I say, yes, I am.
So I helped build a mutant vehicle one year, and I wouldn't recommend it.
You know, that is one of the things at one of our little mutant vehicle gatherings at Burning Man a few years ago. One of the great mutant vehicle creators, a fellow named Christopher, who built a big train called the Soul Train that actually plays the theme from the old TV show Soul Train. And he got up and he said, hey, the first thing I want to tell all of you folks who are thinking about building a mutant vehicle, don't do it. Oh my God, you'll go broke. You'll lose your relationships, and it's just not worth it. And
True story.
Yeah, it takes a lot more than a lot of people think. It's an investment of time, blood, sweat, and tears and money, and it keeps taking a lot of time and effort to have a vehicle.
To quote my favorite sticker I've seen this year, we do this not because it's easy, but because we thought it would be easy.
Exactly. And I know any number of mutant vehicle owners who would say the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, keeping any mechanical object operating out on the Black Rock Desert and then doing so year after year is not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah, exactly. I camp at Black Rock City Welding Repair.
Yes.
And we fix a lot of trouble.
Weren't you around like 3 o'clock or something?
3 o'clock in A.
Yeah. Every time I pass by, I salute anybody who takes on the just the idea of welding on the playa.
I mean, it's just as hospitable for welding as it is for everything else,
fair
which
enough.
is not very hospitable.
But it's like welding, and I've cooked. My chef JUKE name came from cooking, running a communal kitchen out there for a few years, and being behind a hot stove in a hot desert.
Yeah, you can have shade, but it's still going to be hot.
I think there's a certain level of masochism involved in Burning Man, no matter what. Or, as a friend of mine who is a counselor says, Burning Man is perhaps the world's largest experiment in trauma bonding.
That's the truth.
And it's like when you think about these experiences that bring people together and tie them together in a way like no other, there's some things like, being at war. People talk about the bonds they make there, and I know that I have people I've camped with and done stuff out at Burning Man for 25 years, and I think about them differently than my other friends.
Yeah, or even, close family.
Yes. It's like, yes.
They're a different type of close family.
Well, sure, yeah. It's like, yes, you love me, but you haven't sheltered me from a 3-hour dust storm in 106-degree temperature and made sure that I was hydrated.
So, do you camp with a theme camp at Burning Man?
So, we have a little theme camp in a village, and the village is the BLD, or the Blue Light District, which was the first village at Burning Man.
Really?
Back in 1997, when the whole concept of villages first came about.
So I have mixed feelings about villages.
Okay.
For me, I think that villages tend to get away with having less interactivity per capita.
I think some do. And I would actually note that ours is probably one of those. We have a few very active theme camps. Mine is the Swiss Space Bar, and that comes from a few folks who joined my camp. A handful of wonderful folks from Switzerland who took over our village bar and made it into the Swiss Space Camp Bar, where you will find cows in space helmets, lovely beverages, rubber cow races where people ride rubber cows and race. And it's very much fun. It's very interactive. And we have a gaming salon and a coffee bar. And those are the three of the biggest things in our village.
What is a gaming salon?
Well, it is, as you might expect, a place where you can come. And there's any number of games you can, they have laid out board games, card games. It's a place to play games. Burning Man is a place to play games. They host any number of organized games where you can just come. If you want to just come play a game of Scrabble, that's your place.
Well, it's been great talking to you, Chef JUKE.
It has been a pleasure.
Thanks for chatting with us.
Sure. Enjoy your soak.
Oh, I should give you some swag.
And enjoy your burn.
Dig into the swag pouch here.
And while you're looking for that, I'm just going to shout out to Rex on the radio, who I get to work with, who's also involved in Accuracy Third.
Oh, so you know Rex from Burning Man, then?
I know Rex from Burning Man. Rex is in a number of my meetings and is a wonderful helper and facilitator in our many meetings. Oh,
so you probably already have this patch, then.
I actually don't have this patch,
well,
but now I do. All right.
Yeah, thanks for talking with us.
It's been a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your soak.
I will. I mean, I won't. This place is horrible.
Wait a minute.
So I'm here at Soak. My name's E-Industrial, and you are?
I am the all-seeing, the all-powerful, the all-knowing, the enigma of the mirage, the spellbinder, and the master of the weirding way. SENSEI STRANGE, a more elegant magic for a more civilized age.
So you're a magician?
Indeed, yeah.
And you go to Burning Man?
I do, yeah.
And you've been to some other regionals too, yeah?
Started off with a Flipside back in 1999. The Austin community started coming together around a guy named George Papp, who had a big tiki bus. Bumped into them on Playa in 98, and they're like, "Oh, we're from the same town," and so got together and started doing regionals.
This was really early on in Flipside then, yeah?
Yeah, like the first or second year.
Wow.
So I got to see the development of the regional movement, and honestly, I think the regionals they have that social magic that I think Burning Man kind of lacks. It's like you can be very alone at Burning Man. At least I can be very alone sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes just the regionals tend to have more like personal, close-knit type of feel just because you tend to run into the same people again.
Yeah, and it's inherently about community building too. So I kind of wanted to go back to Flipside this year just to see my old folks and old friends, but now I realize my home is in Oregon now, and if I'm going to develop community, I have to invest the time and energy and come out and play with the new folks, not.
You can still always go back to your old friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you have to make a choice, then it would totally make sense to choose making new community.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know my old friends are there and having a good time, but yeah, I need to develop a new life, and with that, I need to find my new tribes. And so coming in and spending the time, it's required.
Do you camp with a theme camp at Burning Man?
I did this last year at Burning Man. It was a 6907 camp, I think. That might be confusing with my phone number from when I was a kid. But anyways, it was like the altitude of the playa was the...
okay.
Yeah.
And so what did they do?
They had a camp that was kind of like a faux greeters, parks and recreation sort of, had Smokey the Bear and, the fire hazards and stuff like that. And it's got a big map of the playa where theme camps could build a little tent or a little image and put themselves on the interactive map. So anyways, I had some swings and overall just, community of good people trying to party. Of course, our power never kicked off this year because the group sort of big power generator that they rented never worked, and so it was a little bit not quite as party intensive as we hoped, but whatever.
There was a lot of things that went wrong last year. I feel like hopefully this year at Burning Man we're kicked back into it after I'd like to think of last year as almost a practice year from taking 2 years off, and then hopefully in 2023 Burning Man we can just pick up where we left off.
But still, it was the first time I'd been back since 2006 or 7 or something like that this last year. Yeah, there's some potent juju still out there though. So I know that you bumped into me when I was in the middle of a spirit trek, if you will, and sent me on the right direction.
It was one of those Burning Man moments where you bump into a friend and you're like, "Hey, what's up?" And we went to the Portos and just got lost from each other.
But you were very helpful in that time though. So.
Good. Cool. It's a crazy place out there. I myself, I started going in 07, and my first full night at Burning Man, the man burned early.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a pretty crazy year. But yeah, I've only missed 2 since then. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid full on.
Yeah, I kind of, I went both ways. I got super energized with the regionals and ended up spending half of my year brewing beer and making theme camp stuff and burning myself out, if you will. So, I put in a bunch of years where it was too much, and now, putting in just a little bit too little, but, but also too, the problems of finding tickets and finding the new community and everything else. It's tricky.
Yeah, the ticketing thing is definitely challenging, and it seems like it gets exponentially worse every year. I know this year, I think, sold out the ticket sale in less than a second.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Which is just mind-boggling. I'm going to say that I heard that, but I don't know that to be true.
Well, at least from me sitting on the computer, the second that it opens up, you click it and it says sold out. So I don't know how those things work, but or they don't.
Well, I think it worked a little too good this year. The website just functioned exactly as it was supposed to, and the tickets just disappeared right away. So we have some more people that just joined us.
Well, I started Soak LLC. I was the first Ranger lead, and then I started Soak LLC and produced about 20 events for under Soak LLC. I started Soak LLC in 2007. We started Soak in 2005. We've always had a good relationship with Seattle. I think we were the first regional to buy a big bank of radios and then promptly loaned them to Seattle for, I think, Seacompression and Critical Mass. It used to be Critical Massive.
Let's introduce ourselves here. You are
Apparatus.
And you are?
I'm PABLOVEX.
Okay, so what do you guys do here at Soak? What's your involvement with the event?
This year I am the box office co-lead, but in years past I was producer. Started in 2017 helping to produce the event that happens at Ty Valley.
So describe the climate here in Ty Valley.
So we always do it in late May, right before Memorial Day, to avoid the burn ban that starts June 1st. And we find that it's usually in the 80s, but sometimes it does rain.
As it did yesterday.
As it did yesterday, making it a true soak.
And then what about you, App?
So this year I am a director. It's a new role for our organization. We have producers and then 2 producers this year supported by 4 directors. Each one of us directors have a portfolio of teams that we support. So for example, I'm the director of the safety teams. So that's Rangers, Major Burnarble Structures, Power and Comms, Fire Conclave, the fire team itself, and then there's like some sub-teams in there like Pyro Load and other teams that support those teams. So I'm the director for safety teams, and then so I mostly support those teams and then handle random production level things that come up to support the event as a whole.
Great. And so you were just saying you helped start this event?
Yes. So I was involved in starting the first Soak. In that, my formal role was the Ranger lead, and that was 2005. And then I started the Soak LLC in 2007, and that was the business entity that ran Soak and all of our decompressions until about 2017. Then we sort of had a crossover where Precipitation Northwest and Soak were working together to produce events before handing it off exclusively to them.
So I was curious, the first Soak, was that an official regional or was it unofficial?
I believe it was an official regional. I mean, we had our regional contacts working with us from the get-go. For several years, really at the beginning, the regional contacts were the producers and the Soak LLC member manager were the producers. So it was kind of chief cook and bottle washer. We were operating out of their basement and their credit cards for storing the materials and putting the venue on their credit card.
So, if I were to want to start a regional in my community, how would I even go about trying to do that?
Well, I think you would start with the Burning Man Organizational's regional network folks, and there's an agreement, as I understand it. The regional contacts is an agreement with the Burning Man organization that's, formalized. And then from there, you light the fire and you go. You kind of build community within your local area and find the artists who want to do the things and look at the other regionals and see what they've done, and then ask yourself in your community, what can we do?
I think that there's probably another way to go about it, and I know that I live in Eugene, Oregon, and they've basically started an unofficial regional. They can't call it a Burning Man regional, but it's a Burning Man principled event. They're taking that route to it to start the event first, and then hopefully eventually get recognized as a regional. At this point, they're still just an event.
Right.
So let's talk about what happens out here. How would you say Soak is different from Burning Man, other than the obvious climate changes?
It's everything at the Big Burn we kind of do at a micro scale at this point. It's a sellout event, so we have to make sure that all the camps that make Soak happen, that make a Burning Man event happen, can get tickets and have access to build the things and make it a fun event. It's not something we used to have to do.
That's pretty challenging. I imagine being the box office lead, the scale of how quickly this event sells out must have been a little frustrating. frustrating.
I mean, it always amazes everybody. People complain. They're like, it must be a hack, but it just does sell out that fast. I need to give most of the props to our placement team because they take all the input from the people that want to make the things happen, organize it, and then give it to me, and then I give them the tools to get the people here.
Yeah. We're fairly capped off just based off the property here, yeah? As far
there's
as
been differing
overall...
opinions about that. Our pop cap is the largest it's ever been. It's 2,000 people this year. It's been growing basically an average of 100 per year since 2015. And when we skipped 2 years for COVID.
Yeah.
Can we fit more people on this property? I don't know. There's been some talk about things happening out in our outer field. It's about a 10-minute walk to where most of the action happens.
Yeah.
Would that make for literally happy campers or not? I don't know.
That would be a challenging thing to do. It's kind of an experiment.
This is actually a problem that almost all regionals experience right now. Critical sells out kind of in the same time. We're smaller. We're 1,300 people, but that sells out. Unscrews sold out almost immediately. The Equinox sells out. Like most of the regionals that are in the 1,000, 1,500 to 3,000 range, the interest is just there. We have so many burners all over the U.S., and a lot of them can't make it to the big burn, so they try to make the regionals. Yep.
Yeah, I know several burners who have been doing Burning Man for years and years and years, and for them, this is their burn now.
Yes.
If
they can get tickets.
Yeah, if they can get tickets.
Yeah.
Because of, when Burning Man happens, coincides with school for a lot of people, impacts a lot of families that way.
Yeah.
For them, they're like, this is our burn, and they call it the burn for them.
Yeah. So, I mean, something the listeners can't hear on the podcast is what this place looks like. We're in a beautiful valley with a gorge with bluffs and hills, and it's green. It's just a beautiful property. It's kind of magical, and I don't want to move from this place.
Yeah,
to a
right
flat
there
field,
with you. Yeah, a big flat, boring field would not have nearly the magic of this majestic, giant cliffside that I'm looking at here, and a swiftly moving river that is dangerous and off limits, but still just magical.
It feels like at night, though, it feels like this main field here feels like you're walking down the Esplanade. There's camp after camp after camp. They're all together. There's lights, there's Blinky, there's Thumpy, there's Furry, all the elements.
And the mezzanine is 10 o'clock.
Yeah, right.
All the sound caps.
Yeah.
All sound caps.
One thing I've been wondering, one of the regionals I've been to, Unbroken Spring in Houston, they have like almost a year-round maintain and improve the property volunteer opportunity. And I wonder if there would be a way to, would the owners of the site allow us access to develop it for more camping spaces, as volunteers?
This is something that Critical actually have. We have a sustainability process with our site, which is also very like Seattle Mountains. We're in the middle of a forest with a river that we can go into, and part of it is literally temperate rainforest thicket. And every year we come and we clear a little bit more of that thicket to allow for a few more camping spaces. And we have work weekends happening throughout the summer, the spring, the summer, to get the site ready, but also get more sites there.
Well, I think that having a good relationship with the landowners, that falls right squarely into having a good ongoing relationship with the landowners. And we have that here, and that's so essential to having a great event, because moving into a new space every few years can be very disorienting for how we're going to do this thing, for the production, for the camps, for the
whole
artists.
Logistics of everything are different.
And so people knowing what home looks like, is it dusty? Is it sandy? Is it grassy? Is it a river canyon? And so we do put a lot of effort into making sure we are good collaborators with the landowners, and they've been very good with us in terms of access to the site and working with us about, because this is cow pasture a lot of times. It's hilly, river canyon. We work with them on making sure that it's not covered in cow pies when we get here and mowed and everything like that.
And that can be a challenging thing as well about this event, is that it isn't flat. It's rolling hills, and there's a lot of space out here that just would not be a good spot to actually have a camp at. So we have big open fields.
But we're burners,
in between.
man. We rise to the challenge. All those campers that are up there on the upper bowl, all of their camps are at an angle. So they're all shimming stuff, and they make it work, and they love that that space. And I think one of the great things about this site is that everyone's camps have these cool features. Like my camp over there has a giant boulder in it, big effing rock, right? And so it's a feature. We use it as the backdrop for our live music stage. And the folks who are in the mezzanine over here, you know, they're working the actual land into their feel, the feel of their camp. Because of the way the land is structured, it creates all these different curves and spots. And like right where we are now in your camp, you're kind of this peninsula in the middle of the action, which is just fantastic. And so in some ways, the land is part of the palette that we paint from. You know?
We don't own the property, and I thought, like, when Space Cadet, she made a really good point. My first question, as soon as they said it, was, does that regional own the land, or is it something that they have to rent? In this case, we rent the land. I know that other regionals like Equinox and Saguaro Man have bought their properties, and they can do the things to make it what they want it to look like. Somebody had a great idea earlier. It's like, oh, we could terrace this upper bowl area, but it's not mine to terrace. I could see carving stuff out, making flat areas. I also know that, like, Soak has been such a success. The landowners have basically, at this point, they own thousands of acres of property in Central Oregon, have gone into full-time hosting festivals. So Shift, which is kind of a sister festival to us, does it at another property not too far away from where this happens. And I know that there's going to be another event at this exact site in a week after that. There are no more cow patties because they've stopped cattle ranching.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Hopefully the other communities that use this space can do it right like we do and maintain.
Yeah, well, we try to leave it better than when we found it, certainly, no question.
Yeah. And I think we always do.
But sometimes we do ask, can we do X, Y, and Z to make it better for our campers? And sometimes the landowners are like, we'd prefer you don't do that. And sometimes they're like, yeah, go for it. And, you know, when we're not here during the winter months, this place is literally used for hunting.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm learning things about this property from talking to you guys.
I'll bring it. DM.
We got DM over here.
My name is Diem, or my parents call me Dave Martinez, but I just happen to have born with built-in initials. Did you even know that was my initials? No. DIM is actually my initials, so not a play name. It's just a real name. And what am I doing?
How do you relate to all of this craziness?
How do I connect? 2001, I'll do the short version. I went to Burning Man. Like everybody that went for their first time was like, I need to get back the second I get back. I threw a wildly unsuccessful decompression party on my own with 2 people in attendance.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the emptiest club you've ever seen. But then slowly built up this project called Massive, and we had a whole bunch of parties that were just like to bring everybody together. And it culminated into Critical Massive, which was that ended up being turned into the 3rd regional founded. Okay, that was 20 years ago.
Do you know what the other 2 preceding you were?
What the other 2 were?
Yeah.
Flipside, and I always forget the fucking 3rd. But I do know we're the 3rd. Yeah. But we are the first week-long one. That was actually, someone was shit-talking to me like, we should just make it a whole week. I'm like, all right.
We're the first one to turn into a nonprofit, no?
Fuzzy? Oh, well, the organization, the 501? No, there was another 501 before us, a couple before.
Okay.
Yeah,
but we did it very early.
Yep.
Of like not go the LLC route, go the 501c3 route.
We were the first Burners Without Borders chapter that did that had the license for the IP and actually built out that agreement for all the other chapters. But that's a whole different story.
So a question I asked Apparatus earlier, what's it like to try and start your own regional? How do you go about doing that?
It was more of definitely having my own, like I was doing what was called Massive. So these parties that we always had the word massive in it, in one way, shape, or form, or at least we tried to. But the thing is, Seattle was already a place that had a lot of established think camps, but nobody was talking to each other. And I was just kind of in the right place at the right time, and I called myself the loudest cheerleader and was like, let's all get together. Who are the guys that make the dog tags on the play?
Animal Control.
So one of the guys from Burcac, and I kept emailing him, like, can you bring your whole camp to our events? Because I knew a lot of the heads, and I'm just bring all 30 of your camp over. And he wrote me back, quit spamming us, Mr. DJ, because I also DJ. And I was like, that means I'm doing the right job, because like he's eventually getting it. And he did. I wrote back in a nice diatribe, like I'm just trying to get everyone together, and everyone was like, let's do this. So it was mainly being in the right place at the right time, more so than, but just having a lot of energy to do so. Yeah, I had a really good co-founder, Scott. I don't know if I should say his last name on here, but I'm gonna.
We'll bleep it.
But he's down in LA now. But yeah, with him and I together put a lot of energy into making these things happen. It's like we went out, we just went to a venue and we actually just signed, had no idea if people were actually going to show up. And it wasn't a regional at the time. It was just like, we're just doing the 17th event in a series of events. It happened to be a 3-day camp out. And also our regional contact was Dave Peterman at the time. And he just at the event was like, we'll just consider it an event. Part of it was there was no regional event guidelines. Like
Right.
they didn't exist.
Right.
There's no Bible.
There's no Bible at the
They
time.
just came to the party.
Yeah. So he said, okay, it's the official regional. And that was literally it. It was
Yep.
like the regional said you're good enough because you have a clear line of accounting, you put the money back in. And eventually, like Stephen Raspa and I worked on the rules, the guidelines, I guess you could say, for having an official event under Burning Man, which is clear line of accounting, so no funny money with the business, have a business account, legal and above board, so all permitting, everything else about it, nothing illegal underground. And the big one, by and for the community. So it couldn't be like a rave promoter throwing it. It'd be a nice event, sure, but it's not the same as a Burning Man event.
Yeah.
So it has to be community driven.
Some sort of nonprofit structure. Doesn't necessarily need to be a 501c something, but it needs to be an accountable legal nonprofit.
Yeah, that falls into the legal stuff. That's a newer one and very true.
And so I imagine that part of that means electing representatives.
Now it does. So back then it was just we were all cutting our teeth and trying to figure out what's the best process for this. We had no idea, and we're like, if we just do this, is what's going to happen. And eventually, people would get upset, and then people would be happy, and then people would defend you, and people would attack you. It's just like all these different things because there's a lot of passion because no one's getting paid, right? So it's all like, I love doing this, and I believe this way is better than your way, or that kind of thing. But fortunately, it was where the point was like, legal is always the best, no matter what. You just got to figure out what structure works for you. Some communities like Vancouver, I think they're insane because they have it where everybody has to agree, which I think is nuts. Other places like Seattle, we have a board, and then we can vote on what the best structure is for that year or continuing on.
So one thing I've noticed, Seattle and Portland are close in the same region of the country, but it really seems like our two events are very interconnected and interwoven. There's a lot of Seattle camps here. Yeah?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, a big chunk of our volunteer infrastructure and our leaders in our organization are Seattle people. It's fantastic. And we go up there and volunteer on their teams and get involved in their projects too.
And vice versa. We get a lot of Portland people come up to Critical and get involved with our events. In the end, it's 3 hours drive from one place to another. It's kind of, we have our own separate events, our own separate RCs and everything, but it's somewhere a big community that works together towards
generally the same region.
Throwing these two or more even events.
Yeah, we have the leads exchange here going this year. So we have members of leadership from Critical down here shadowing us. I have my counterpart from Critical shadowing me and kind of going to meetings with me at this event and showing them what I do. Here's our briefings, etc. Here's the weird errands that directors run. So, and I'm going to go
Patty
do that.
actually just walked by.
What's that?
Patty's the producer of Critical. He just went out of view, but he just walked by and he was walking with the old producer of Critical.
Right, Decoy.
So I love it.
Yeah, she's in a proper transfer position this year. Yeah. To get all the knowledge actually properly transferred and not, the previous person knew how to do it.
Yeah.
And
good luck. Good luck.
And that kind of transfer
Succession planning.
Yeah, succession planning is so essential because so much of what we're doing out here, especially in the early days, was just like inventing the wheel and someone who comes in to start a new department or new project sees a need that might not be specific to what we have in Black Rock City, but then all of a sudden it becomes a department and all of a sudden they're the one who knows how it needs to be done. So we're like, yes, mentor people, bring people up and bring people along and train your replacement. Always be training your replacement.
Bratty Cat is here.
I'm Bratty Cat. I'm a soak placement. I also volunteer on BRC placement. I actually think one reason I got involved with regionals is the experimentation factor. We have a ton, and between the knowledge transfer, these events are easy to pivot and have fun with. We can do a lot of cool things that we couldn't do anywhere else, and we have a great knowledge base of experience to be able to just pivot.
They're all little laboratories for how we can do things, permutate what we do.
It's really cool to see and how the events differ so much. I was actually awake last night thinking Soak is a very theme camp based event. We don't have, art's not the draw here. Our theme camps are the heart in the event, while other events are really art centric. We are very theme camp centric.
Yeah, there's still plenty of gorgeous, amazing, awesome art out here, but
our
you're
theme
totally
camps are
right.
gems.
Yeah,
We are
the theme camps are
well,
huge. effigy.
That's also this year was special.
Yeah.
We do have good effigies, though. We have a great MVS team, and every year it's always amazing.
Unfortunately, in Seattle, we can't burn. We finally, last year, we had a small effigy that was taken apart into 3 parts and put into 3 big burn barrels, and that's how we burned it.
Our second burn out here in 2006, nobody thought to bring a burn to the burn. So we literally had a pile of sticks and a piece of 2 by like 6-inch plywood, and we drew a little man on it, right? SOAK. That was our effigy. And the next year, I showed up. What's that?
What was the year with the dome? Was that 07? And the Raining Man?
So that wasn't soak. That was our first decompression. Well, it was at Pendarvis Farm, which is like, I think on the fringes of Portland. So it was almost in town. So yeah, so that was the Umbrella Man. And then the first soak was the Raindrop Man. And then the same artist who did the Umbrella Man for us, some years later, I think it might have been like 08, did a man, looked like the man from Burning Man, but was cartwheeling and had a clown mask and rainbow wig and clown shoes. And we sent pictures of that down to San Francisco, and they got a kick out of it.
BRATTY CAT, you want to talk a little bit about how the placement has changed over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think that's the job of placement, is to change and experiment. Like, I think our role with theme camps is to support and work with them. We want to have fun and experiment together. How can we move you? How can we change? How can we make this event different every single year and work with you to truly help them do what they do? One, our team has gotten bigger. I think last year placement had 4 leads. We now have 7 full leadership roles, and it's amazing to be able to support our community even that much more and support our other leads.
So since you also work with the placement team at Black Rock City, how would you say the process differs? I know you probably can't get into too much, and I know that you have to say that you're not representing Burning Man.
No, I'm not. I think what I was saying is, like, I think both Papa Bear and I have brought a lot of ideas from cultural direction settings here, almost easier than Black Rock City, because it's leadership hierarchy is very easy to communicate with. We're like, let's release the map. Let's try transparency. Let's try to let camps give us feedback. There's a larger feedback loop. We can try different things easier. We've released the map. I don't know. I think it's just we're very willing to experiment and try new things, and we're constantly bringing new people in and letting their ideas shine.
One of the things we were talking about earlier is the scarcity of tickets being a big deal at regionals.
We're at this hinge in our culture where we can actually decide how we want to look at this. This was the first year Soak had 2 no-place camps, and it was very new for us. That decision was very hard, and we even tried to bring more in as the process went on. But I think we will have to make some hard choices, and I would hope that us as a community really do gather and at this hinge point of scarcity decide what we want our event to be in here and what that looks like. That it's not just this one team deciding that, but as a community, how do we want to use this space? What type of camps are we looking at? I hope we talk about this more this year, because this was our first, we hit capacity this year, so.
And we're kind of with Critical at the same crux, where we have a great relationship with the venue that we're using. It's a campsite that belongs to the Masons. And we have a great relationship with them, and we have a multi-year contract, and they're helping us by helping them get the venue ready. And yet we do want to grow over, like right now we're at 1,300. We could probably get to 15 at that site. But just to be fair to the community, not have this scarcity, we need to get to maybe 2,000, 2,500. And so DM is actually searching for alternative venues, which is a multi-year project. We're like starting to look at places now for maybe a move 3 to 5 years from now. Or 2, but yeah. But yeah, no, not immediately. This is find a place, find somebody you can also develop a relationship with. Not somebody to say, well, I'll rent you the place and you come in for a week and you're out and goodbye.
Always be looking for venues. Even now, we're in a great situation, but we should always be looking for a different one, because you never know. Things change. The political atmosphere of the county could change. Something could happen with the ownership of the land. People sell land. People change the usage of the land. So you're always looking for a new home, even as you really love your.
That's 100% agreed. 100%. Yeah. You're always looking for a home, even if you have one. Is the smart way to do it.
Yeah, contingency planning.
Yep. I literally, in the early days of Soak, I literally once got a call from the Marion County planning department person saying, you can't have Burning Man here. We're going to park our sheriff's deputies outside your venue and turn everybody away. And so it was like, this was the beginning of us developing a relationship with the county down there. And that was a big wake-up call to, like, you know, okay, if this doesn't work out, we worked it out for that year and a couple of years after that, but you know, if you can't have it there, where are you going to have it? And that's the life or death of the event.
Yeah. Our community has really kind of sold this event on the local, like, county community in just doing it right and setting a good example of how events should be thrown, and, you know, making a good relationship with the locals because of how we go about everything.
Yeah, I will say, without any fear of contradiction, that the DNA of the SOAK organization is, you know, professionalism with each other and professionalism with our landowners, our counties, all of our collaborators, our vendors. You know, they all know us as professional, and this amazing, fun, wacky thing we do is done in a super professional and top tier way. They know, and they all work with us so well now. That just pays year in, year out dividends.
This is something I see across the Burning Man production world, where we're all like freaks and weirdos, but at the end of the day, we create amazing events that run like a super well-oiled machine. Really, like 80,000 people get into Burning Man, mostly without a hitch now. Yeah, that's like, you know, that's the big. And a lot of us learn there. We go to really one of the best schools of production, because a lot of us graduated from the school or are still in the School of Burning Man of Event Production.
I think most of us here, sitting here, are all volunteers at Burning Man. What's your favorite part of volunteering at Black Rock City? What made you beer bong the Kool-Aid, so to speak?
I think, in a word, family. I mean, the teams I work with that are out there, the artists, the camps that I know from the regionals, the departments that I've interacted with. My main home is in the Black Rock Rangers. There are people that I've known for more than 2 decades that I've dealt with awful stuff in the middle of the night, in the cold, in the rain, in the heat, in the desert, in the city, you know, day, night, you know, here, Nevada. You know, and it's funny, I look at some of these people and I think, I've been through more with these people than most members of my family. That's what keeps me coming back.
Chef Juke earlier was talking about that, you know, the trauma bonding of going through
real
106 degree dust storm and, you know, caring for your friends, you know, trauma bonding in that.
Yeah.
But also the positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I got to go deal with an ugly thing out at gate. The Rangers are sending me out there to deal with some ugly thing out of there, and it's hot, and it's dusty, and then I see PABLOVEX come out of the dust, and he's the person who's going to help me, and I'm like, oh, this is my brother here, you know? It's great.
So I drink the Kool-Aid in a backwards way. So by virtue of doing Critical in 2003, I was asked by my regional, do you want to be regional too? Sure. And there was, again, no process back in the day to be regional as much. And so I actually was the regional contact for 6 years. And so I did it mostly for Seattle more so than the org down below. But I worked with Steven Raspa a ton to come up with a lot of the process and things, because my interest was, I love this and I want to make sure it's sustainable way after I'm gone and not involved. And I don't mean sustainable like environmental, it's a different kind of sustainable. I mean, I want it to keep lasting. So help writing guidelines, like here's what to do to make sure you don't fuck yourself. Like here's how to do it right. You know, one of my things I say all the time, for example, is the first thing you do when you have money, hire an accountant. The second thing you do is you hire a lawyer. Then you go ahead and do everything else you need to do, because they'll guide you in what to do, like an LLC, or do you guys want to do a 501c3?
Yeah.
So my thing is all about sustainability, and that's kind of where I come from. And it's been continuing on past. I'm glad to have stepped down and said, hey, we need new blood. And I've let go of my cult-like status at this point.
BRATTY CAT.
I think when it comes from a want to belong, ever since I got involved in the community, I immediately fell in love and wanted to know, like, how do I contribute? How do I make this with them? And I tried art, I tried theme camps, and I think it is also a community. Like, the minds you're working with and the people you're building this with. Like, I fell in love with the teams in the community. No matter where I am, whatever burner community, whether it's a regional or the burner event, like, you're doing this because the people you're working with are...
It's really that for me too, is the community of, you know, the gate staff people. It's a crazy group of weirdos that
who also can't sit still.
Relate to.
Maybe a little like hyperactivity, maybe anxiety.
Hey, do you guys know how you can tell if you're talking to a Black Rock City Ranger? They're going to let you know. Natasha.
I moved from Israel in 2012 and joined DPW and moved after the burn to Oakland, and I had an instant community. I had an instant community there of, people that were in the burn working with me. That suddenly I had friends. Like, I just moved from a different country halfway across the world, and I had friends. And I've been volunteering 11 years with GATE, and the main reason I still do it is, that these are my friends, and I'm there to meet friends that I cannot meet the rest of the year, and to support them. And from that, I moved into regionals. Specifically, a year and a half ago, moved to Seattle and got involved with Ignition Northwest, which is not a nonprofit, and Critical, and the other two events that we produce up there.
They're your part-time friends. Like, they're great close friends because of what you've been through together, but at the same time you only see them like a week and a half a year.
It's morphing into I realize how many of my friends, even just walking around here, it's like everybody here that I'm friends with is mostly a worker, not so many just like regular old normal participants.
The hardest part of volunteering is learning how to go to the event.
Yeah, that very much holds true because I put all this blood, sweat, and tears into making this thing work, and I just want to hang out here and let the party come to me because I've spent so much time.
We built the thing,
building it.
Yeah. Sometimes we just have to take the radio away from our friend and be like, "Go to the party. You help make it." Thank you so much for doing our work for us. It's really appreciated.
With us, Beth.
It's like the weird frame of the podcast that is to share a whole bunch of people's point of views and perspectives on this wild thing we all do together. We can't really do it just ourselves. So I so appreciate both this sticker and you helping by gathering audio to events that we aren't at.
Yeah, and it was awesome. I know a lot of people that are pretty highly connected with Soak, so it was cool to get their history of the event and also kind of a good idea of what it takes to start something like that yourself.
Yeah,
it's pretty far along now, but it started somewhere, and that's kind of one of the things we talk about.
That's rad. I can't actually wait to listen to your audio. Rex is going to love this.
Yeah.
He's a huge Never-Ending Story fan.
Great. Yeah, I got the idea right before the burn and didn't actually make the stickers until after I got back.
That's fair.
But yeah, it's the Swamp of Sparkle Pony Sadness.
I like the idea of a commemorative sticker.
Yeah. Let's just forever refer to 2023 as the Swamp of Sparkle Pony Sadness.
Do you have anyone you particularly want to thank for giving you time or helping make the interviews happen?
Definitely PABLOVEX, APPARATUS, BRATTY CAT, Chef JUKE. I know I'm going to be forgetting people. Space Cadet, MANIMAL.
I mean, how many
Natasha.
people can you possibly thank?
Yeah.
Natasha,
how many people could
sorry
I possibly
for speaking over you.
Interview? A lot. Probably some of it you'll throw out. Maybe some of those people aren't even on it.
Well, you can still thank them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And thank you for your time and for your interest. And if you are listening to this podcast episode and you expected to be in the episode but weren't, reach out to us directly. We won't do you like that again.
And you can come on the show yourself.
Yeah. A lot of those people should. I'm going to just should at APPARATUS and Chef JUKE personally, even though we've barely met, you should come on the podcast.
I will tell Chef JUKE myself. He would make a great full-length interview.
This isn't the first we've heard of Chef JUKE. That name is real familiar.
Yeah, he works in the Burning Man IT department.
Yeah, he's on the DMV council.
Oh, yeah.
He's on the DMV council. He's also one of the people that does Doing It Wrong at burningman.org.
What's that?
So that's if you see someone that's using the IP of Burning Man or, just generally doing it wrong, you can email them and they get in touch with placement if it's a placement issue, or get in touch with Burning Man Legal if it's a Burning Man legal issue.
Yeah. Have you seen assholes using Burning Man footage to sell their shitty software? This is a place where you can narc on them in enjoyable ways.
Doing it wrong at burningman.org.
Yeah, it's not being a cop, it's being a hall monitor. That's just different enough.
It's being a principles enforcer.
All right.
Accuracy Third is produced by Accuracy Third, which is DJ Rex and I, along with E-Industrial and anyone else who's willing to record audio for us. We fucking adore it. More people out there with microphones talking to folks, the more experiences we get to hear about and know more about the weird-ass community that actually creates the foundations of these events. If you want to support us, we do have a Patreon, and that comes with some additional long, rambly bits of audio, and it helps us do what we're doing here. We have a shed to maintain, guys.
And I have to say, it is quite the shed.
Thank you. We spent a lot of time on the shed. And you're saying that with it as grimy as it currently is, overridden with just piles of stuff. Eventually, a lot of that stuff will be up on the walls instead of the floor. Thank you to all of our $1 patrons on Patreon in no particular order. Thank you to Meredith, Wilhelm, Brooke, Jonathan, Heather, Tara, Kim, Chris, Tyler, Kim, Michelle, Mike, Sarah, Benjamin, Ira, and Mr. Bear. Thank you all for helping us put on this podcast.
Well, get used to having to say E-Industrial on that list, too.
Great. Thank you, E-Industrial. The music for this episode is Your State Smells Like Cow Shit by Late Bus.
What a great song title, and accurate in probably every state.
Especially accurate for Soak, which is presented in an old cow pasture that they used to have to remove the shit from. You would know that if you edited as much of that episode today as I edited today.
I know that because I've been to regionals, and they are
largely in cow pastures.
Bring your worst boots is all I'm saying.
Oh, and you should join our Discord and follow us on Blue Sky. Reach out to us and go on their Twitter, where there are not fascists, as far as I can tell. It's real queer there.
There's fascists everywhere.
Yeah, it's true. They infiltrate everything.
Nice. Good place to leave it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's crumbling. Oh, yeah.
What's everybody's favorite theme camp at Burning Man?
I don't know. There's old ones and new ones. So some of the things that stand the test of time, there's a reason why Thunderdome, is so popular. Like the scale of that camp at Burning Man, you can't compete. It'll be a forever camp. There used to be a camp down by Center Camp. It was Spike's Vampire Bar.
Oh, yeah. I loved Spike's.
Remember?
Yeah.
I have the calendar.
I got to DJ an industrial set there.
They serve everybody sangria, but they called it blood. Like I miss that
in blood
camp.
bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, hanging up above their bar, and they had the mannequin with the tubes coming out of the veins. Spike's Vampire Bar was amazing.
Yeah.
I got to give a shout out to Costco for sure. Costco so much outlet because I married into it actually, which is kind of funny. And then, well, I'm not married into it anymore, but but it's still fantastic. It's the oldest standing, still continuous camp. 22 years, I think. 1998. The only one that was longer was Santa Camp, and they stopped coming because everyone just did Santa at a certain point.
Spatial Delivery had 99 to, I think they finally fizzled in like 18 or something. But that was my camp. And we were camp ass next to, in Center Camp, Costco for a couple of years there. So Costco was very good to us. Very good to us.
I'm going to voice an unpopular opinion. Opulent Temple. I think that somebody who brings a very big content portion for years and years and actually doing it, they're the ones that
Oh, we're being invaded here. Someone describe what's going on here. I don't know if I can put it into words.
Rainbow.
There's a rainbow walking through the bar right now.
With different.
There's a rainbow procession just happened through this camp. Yeah.
Sails.
Yeah.
Northwest Mist.
This is
I
what we're here for.
gotta throw a shout out to Northwest Mist because they're from here. They camp here. They camp out there. They have a beautiful circus tent that is all Mr. Apparatuses on the inside and Northwest theme art on the inside. And when it's hot as balls out there, I always stop by when I'm auditioning new people trying out for the Rangers, and I'll walk them through and we'll go in and cool off in there. And I love it because it's a service, it's an experience, it's welcoming, and it's, you know, it's a little slice of the Northwest out there.
I'm going to continue like my shout out to Opulent Tempo for a very long time bringing really like very large artists, very large like scale musical talent to the planet, doing it the Burnary way. So not, you know, pay to play or not like providing.
I heard they got good t-shirts.
I got some.
They have good t-shirts.
Yeah.
Too soon.
I know that they're trying. Their heart is in the right place, and they're trying, and it's hard to do.
They're trying to do it the right way.
Yeah.
Their heart is in the right place. They've been doing it long enough. They know how to do it right.
Yeah. It's very easy to take that theme camp and transform it into your money-making machine.
It's tempting, yeah. It's the
very
dark
tempting.
side.
Yeah. And knowing that like you're not doing it, you're still like doing OT for the playa, and as a gift to the playa.
Yeah, so I'm kind of tooting my own horn a little bit, but I really would have to say it's this bar no longer goes to Burning Man anymore. But RevoFUCKINGlution, been under several other names, but we were in the 9 o'clock portal and just basically do what we're doing here at Soak, you know, serve microbrew for an insane amount of interactivity hours, just like pretty much never close. And it's just a fun, cool spot, and I'm totally in love with it.
I'm stoned.